let me introduce you with a fascinating logic problem which says that we have 4 prisoners, Alex, Bob, Charlie, and Danny, who are given an offer by the warden that if they win a game, they're all free to go. And he places them in this order: Alex here at the top, Bob here in front of him, Charlie in front of him, and Danny completely isolated. So that Alex can see Bob and Alex can also see Charlie, while Bob can only see Charlie and Charlie cannot see anything, so does Danny. So they're given a hat. For example, not for example, but exactly, Alex is given a red hat, Bob is given a green hat, Charlie is given a red hat as well, and Danny is given a green hat. And the warden actually tells them, okay, there are exactly 2 green caps and 2 red caps. So the rules are they cannot look back and see each other's hats, and they cannot communicate with each other. And warden tells them, if any of you predicts his hat color correctly, then you're all free to go. So you win. So my question is, who will first of all predict his hat color correctly? So give this problem a try, and when you're done, you can come back to see the solution. I hope and I assume you had a go at it. So if you came up with this solution that Bob will be the first person to actually shout his hat's color correctly, then you are correct, because Bob, this is how it logically supports him. I mean, Alex, who is here, you could actually make diagrams and tables if you wish to, but I hope it makes sense even without doing all that stuff. Or I might just even do it a little for the sake of your understanding. For example, first of all, we'll consider Alex's case, where Alex is seeing Bob and Charlie, and he'd just think that, okay, Charlie is wearing red, Bob is wearing green. I do not know what am I wearing. If only I could see Danny's hat, I could know what I'm wearing. Like, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Because if he could see Danny's wearing green, so Bob and Danny green, and Charlie the only one with red, so I must be wearing red. If Danny was wearing red, then I must be wearing green. He'd know that. Like, I hope it makes sense to you that how he knows that. If it doesn't, oh, then you need to work on your logical reasoning a lot. So, anyways, Alex would know what hat color is he wearing if he could see Danny's hat. However, he cannot see Danny's hat, so he won't know. In another case, he would definitely know his hat color if Bob was wearing a red hat, so that he'd know that if only Bob were wearing a red hat and Charlie were also wearing a red hat, so these both would be wearing red hats. So I know that 2 reds, so Bob and Alex and Danny would be wearing green hats, so he'd know that, okay, my hat color would be green if Bob was wearing a red hat also. So he must be wishing that Bob should have worn that red hat, so I could guess it. So he cannot guess it anyways. He just stays silent. So I'm just going to write silent with him, so he won't know what hat color is he wearing. Bob, being a very intelligent and logical person, he just deduced something from the silence that Alex has produced. He'd just know that what Alex actually thought. He'd know that, okay, if I were wearing a red hat, then Alex would definitely shout his hat color because I'm seeing Charlie wearing a red hat as well. And if I were wearing a red hat as well, then Alex would know that these 2 guys are actually wearing red hats, so he must be wearing a green hat. However, he did not shout his hat color, so that means he's not seeing me wearing a red hat. He's definitely seeing 2 different colors, so he's uncertain about his hat color as well. So this must mean that me and Charlie are actually wearing different hat colors. So what is Charlie wearing? Red? Then I must be wearing green. So he'll just know, and he'll just shout green. And yes, he'll be perfectly fine with his answer, and they will all be free to go. And did you figure it out? I hope you did, because it was very logical and a perfect example of what logic problems are. And you need to work out the possibilities, you need to work out the scenarios, and in order to just find out the solution. I'll be coming up with more logical and tricky problems in future, and I hope you like them. Thank you for watching.